YouTube, what it do? It's your boy TWV checking in for episode 37 of 40 Years of WrestleMania with TWV, and we are 3 episodes away from the finale. I have something special planned for the finale, which would be episode 40, WrestleMania 40. We're gonna keep that under wraps until we get there. But let's get into WrestleMania 37. WrestleMania 37 was in Tampa Bay, Florida, because it was supposed to be in Tampa Bay the previous year, but due to COVID-19, that one was stuck in the Performance Center. We don't talk about WrestleMania 36, but WrestleMania 37 was a really good show. I think I like the most matches of any WrestleMania on WrestleMania 37. Of course, this is 2 nights, so I'm able to find matches between both nights. So I think I was either at 7 or 8 matches. So let's not get long-winded on the introduction. Let's get into the review. The first match that I thoroughly enjoyed was the Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley match for the WWE Championship. This went about 18 and a half, 19 minutes. It was a really good match, really fun match in my opinion. It opened up the show on night 1, and it was a really great match in my opinion. Wasn't nothing like, oh, this is like a 5-star. Really wasn't even a 4-star. It was a 3-star match, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because Drew McIntyre is a great wrestler. Bobby Lashley is a great wrestler. It's like a 3.5 because Bobby Lashley did retain. No title change right here, unfortunately. I thought they would give Drew his moment back after kind of carrying the championship through the pandemic, but they did not. Bobby Lashley did end up choking McIntyre out. He put him in the master lock, and he I don't know if he passed out or he tapped out. I don't remember. But it was a cool way to finish the match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next match that I thoroughly enjoyed was Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. This was Cesaro's last WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. He ended up leaving WWE and going to AEW after this. But man, he put on a great match with Seth Rollins. I think they had anywhere between 12 to 14 minutes. It was really good, action-packed. From the jump, like Cesaro started out the gate hot with like a flying uppercut, and then they just went in from there. Real great grabs. Like I said, Seth Rollins can wrestle anybody and give him a good match, but he had a great dancing partner there with him that night. So same thing as the last match. 3.5 for me, possibly a 4. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not something I would be like, hey, you need to go see it. It wasn't nothing like that, but I liked it. But I think Cesaro did end up getting a win, because I don't remember the feud. And I was locked into wrestling at this time, like from the pandemic all the way to now. I don't remember what the feud was about. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next match, and the best match between both nights of WrestleMania, was the Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the WWE Women's Championship. And man, this match was amazing. It was a TWB 5-star. We had 2 black women main eventing a WrestleMania for the first time in history, and they went out there and they showed out. It was amazing. This was also, I think, Sasha Banks' last WrestleMania, because after that she did end up leaving the WWE as well, and going to AEW. But man, they went out there and they pulled out all the stops. This was kind of Bianca Belair's coming out moment in the WWE, and Sasha Banks was the best dancing partner she could have at that moment, and they went on to put on an amazing generational match. 5 stars. I would definitely recommend you go watch it. I loved everything about it. Like, even at the beginning when they rung the bell, you could see the emotions between them. The camera was panning back and forth between them, and they were just like, they both were almost in tears, like just proud of, how far they've come, and the moment that they're having, and it was a beautiful sight to see. And then they shook off the jitters and they went out there, and real graps were proceeded to happen. So I definitely recommend you to watch this. This will make my 40 matches list. I got to start preparing this list because I do go to Vegas in 2 days, and I want to have this video out either tomorrow or possibly Thursday before I get into all my WrestleMania content. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next match that I thoroughly enjoyed was from night 2, which was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. I've said this in a previous video. These 2 guys are wrestling soulmates. I think they had 10 to 12 minutes, and they went out there and made it feel like they had like 15 to 20. They were just out there doing their thing. Great match. It wasn't up to the most recent matches that they had, but this was definitely like 3.5, 4-star. I'm a huge fan of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, so I'm gonna give him a 0.5 boost. So I'll give it a 4-star in my personal opinion. But it was a great match. Enjoyed everything about it. Kevin Owens did end up picking up the win, but like I said, these two are generational wrestlers. I do hope Sami Zayn does get a push this year. This is just in current WWE, but Kevin Owens, unfortunately, right now has to have neck surgery, so we wish Kevin Owens the best of luck and hoping a speedy recovery. But this match was amazing. And with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next match that I thoroughly enjoyed was Sheamus versus Matt Riddle for the United States Championship. And man, this match was so underrated, but Sheamus puts on bangers. And Matt Riddle went out there, and that WrestleMania aura kind of just hit him, man. Like, he went out there, and I want to say this might be Matt Riddle's best match in WWE. They went out there and had a hard-hitting brawl, and it was amazing. It's not a 5-star. I'm not gonna gas it like that, but it was a 4-star to me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was some real graps in that match. They were going at it. They were going, hit for hit. They were getting a little technical in the ring as well. So I did enjoy that. But yeah, Matt Riddle came out there and he put on his dancing shoes, even though he wrestles barefoot. But yeah, he had an ultimate legend in Sheamus out there with him. And Sheamus don't hold no punches against anybody. Like a lot of wrestlers always say, Sheamus is like their toughest opponent because he doesn't hold punches. He hits you hard. He hits you for real. Like you really feel that after a Sheamus match. So I loved everything about it. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next match I thoroughly enjoyed was Rhea Ripley versus Auska for the Raw Women's Championship. And like I said with the Bianca Belair match, this was Rhea Ripley's coming out party. And of course, she had an incredible dancing partner in there with Auska. Auska put on one of the best matches of a WrestleMania a couple years ago with Charlotte Flair. So this would have been no issue as well. It was a great match. High pace, high intensity. Auska was in there trying to, work on Rhea Ripley and make her tap out. Rhea Ripley was using her, her power, being the bigger wrestler to overpower Auska, and man, it was amazing. It ended with a riptide. 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley is your new Raw Women's Champion. So, building 2 new women's superstars in the division at this WrestleMania, and now fast forward to WrestleMania 41, her, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair are all facing off for the Women's Championship. So it just shows you that 5 years ago when they pulled the trigger on some of these wrestlers, it was the best decision ever because of the longevity. They're about to probably steal the show at this WrestleMania, so I cannot wait. With that being said, let's get into the final match that I enjoyed at this WrestleMania. So the final match that I thoroughly enjoyed was the triple threat match for the Universal Championship between Daniel Bryan, Edge, and Roman Reigns. This was Daniel Bryan's last WrestleMania. He also did end up going to AEW later on this year, if I'm not mistaken. This was Edge's comeback run. Edge was here from WrestleMania 37, I want to say, all the way to 39, and then he left to go to AEW as well. This was basically kind of the start of the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns era. He had came back and won the belt at SummerSlam. Was it SummerSlam? I don't know if it was SummerSlam or the pay-per-view right after SummerSlam, right during the pandemic, like the back end half of the pandemic, like August, September. No, he won at Payback. They had a pay-per-view called Payback. I think he won at that joint. But this was the infamous, not infamous like in a bad way, but infamous, I'm going to smash him, stack him, and pin him. So to finish the match, basically, he'd stack Daniel Bryan and Edge on top of each other and pin both of them. It was a cool thing to see. Of course, Jey Uso was interfered in the match as well because he was the right-hand man at that time. So basically it was 2-on-1 kind of. But it was a great match. Edge tried to choke Roman out with a piece of the steel chair and pulling it like in between his teeth. It was crazy. Daniel Bryan tried to do it was like a double submission part of the match. Like it was a real great match. 4.5 because I don't know. Not the ending was flat, but it felt like it was missing something. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It'll make the list. It'll make the list somewhere. I don't know where. I got a lot of matches to review to make this list down to 40 matches. WWE did 50 matches. I want to go with 40 of them because I want to do it in the same amount of WrestleManias. So we're chopping 10 off, and we're about to make this list real interesting. Like I said, wrestling is subjective. This is a lot of personal opinion, personal favorites, a little bit of bias in some of these matches. To rank these matches is going to be extremely hard. I'm really going to have to sit here the next day or two and really put this list together because, like I said, I do want to get this video out at least Thursday. Get it up on YouTube while I'm on the way to Vegas so y'all can have something else to look at and we can have a conversation down in the comments. But with that being said, it's your boy TWV checking in and checking out. I'll catch you later on for the next one. Peace.